All right, backseaters. Welcome back to Live on Patrol. Oh, hold on just a sec. Sorry about that. I had to mute you for a second because my phone was ringing and I didn't know who it was, but it was a friend of mine, a Minneapolis police commander who's calling to talk about coordination on our carjacking and auto theft stuff, and so that we can better coordinate intel, and because we definitely share some of the same bad guys. So welcome to Live on Patrol from Ramsey County, Minnesota. We are in the black unmarked Dodge Durango, cruising northbound on Rice Street, and it's been a very busy morning here in the capital city of the state of Minnesota in St. Paul. I'm Undersheriff Mike Martin. I am the commander of the Regional Services Division for the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, and you are live on patrol in the back seat of my Chevy Tahoe. I want to apologize for not being able to be live last week, but something came up and I just wasn't able to do it. I was actually out of town, so I'm back and with you here, and we'll be live probably till about 2:45 because I have a meeting at 3 that I have to attend, which is really important. It's one of the things in my job. I don't like doing meetings, but this one is talking about resources for our CAT team and our deputies and how we can better serve the citizens in non-criminal cases. So when we come across people who are struggling with homelessness or drug addiction or other issues, talking about how we can better coordinate with other county services and state services to try to help those folks out and not just rely on other people to do stuff. So we are going to go westbound on Front here. As I said, it's been a busy morning. There was a carjacking pretty early this morning. Let me see here. I want to make sure I get this right, but I think it was at Sherburne and Dale. It was at Dale and Sherburne, where a individual was carjacked at gunpoint. St. Paul, with assistance from, I think, our folks and some other agencies, looked for that car, but the car ended up being dumped, and the suspects were gone. But hopefully through processing for DNA and fingerprints, we'll be able to identify who the suspects were that were involved. Fortunately, no one was injured in that case. We've had a couple other stolens recovered this morning. We also have, let's see, a 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix that was taken sometime this morning, and the license on that is Charlie Union X-Ray 022. Charlie Union X-Ray 022. If you see that vehicle, call 911. Don't try to do anything yourself. But we've had multiple times where the backseaters were able to help us locate stolen vehicles. As other stuff comes up, I will let you know. I'm trying to look through here. There's a stolen black BMW X5, a 2015 Nora X-Ray Boy 533. That's still in the wind. That was stolen and then used in a burglary. So keep an eye out for that one as well. There was shots fired at a business this morning or early afternoon in the city of St. Paul, and we have a suspect vehicle in that. I'm not going to air it, but let me see here if I can get you a little better view. So otherwise, we're on our normal patrol, looking for stolen vehicles and assisting St. Paul on calls that arise that are high priority calls, or if they just need backup. I want to give a shout out to the gentleman that said hi to us at the Tom Reed's as we were eating lunch earlier. I don't know your name, but I appreciate the fact that you're watching. Also, shout out to Mary from Delano, you know who you are, that brought us some treats on Saturday, and we really appreciated that. And Sandy, who stopped and said hi to us as well over the weekend. We don't want to talk about the Gopher football team or the Vikings today. I'm still stinging from both of those. The Gophers, I wasn't surprised, but the Vikings could have pulled that one off last night. So I wish they would have won, but 4450 Clearport. Josh Dobbs was under a ton of pressure, and but he did a tremendous job for someone who's relatively new to the system. So we'll see. Hopefully we can move forward. It's on the north side of Lester. We'll see. Hopefully we can move forward. I'm trying to mute myself here so that I can see a little bit more. Hopefully you had a chance to see the before I left town, us being able to give a bicycle to Noah, the young man whose bicycle was stolen, and the backseaters generously donated to help replace that bike. And it was just a really touching moment to be able to go there and get a big hug from him. 073. He was very excited. It's about, I don't know what the temp is right now. Hold on just a sec. Let me check my dash. 43 and cloudy. Not bad for this time of year. We'll take anything that's not below freezing and snowing. Got to give a quick shout out to Sergeant Mark Suki. He's probably not watching me, but he hurt his knee on Friday chasing bad guys, and catching the bad guy, by the way, with a gun in the car. But he hurt his knee, so I hope he's doing better. He's at home, and Director Leiden and I called him today to check on him and see how he's doing, and hopefully he'll be back in the mix here in not too long. We're eastbound on University now. Of course, right now it's relatively quiet, but for those of you who are new to the back seat, we if things heat up on the street, I'll let you know, and I will mute myself and turn up the radio so you can hear stuff as it's occurring. As I said, it's been a busy morning, which usually means we're going to have a busy afternoon.
9271 also.
Copy medical at 3656 Hoffman Road, apartment 329. A 1-year-old female is choking on a quarter.
So you just heard that call, a 1-year-old female's choking on a quarter. The White Bear Lake squads are on their way there, and hopefully they can get that quarter dislodged before the medics get there. I can honestly say I've never been to one of those where a kid was choking on something where we weren't able to get it out or get them the attention they need in a timely fashion. So it's just important to know that Heimlich maneuver if you're a parent, and how a smaller child like this one, how to hold them on their belly but with their head down and give them some back blows to dislodge the object.
5281. Fire with a small smoke on the first floor. Unknown unit source.
A1 fire campaign.
Copy. Position 43.
So a lot of times you will hear squads dispatched to a smell of smoke or whatnot where there's no, known actual active fire. And sometimes the officers or deputies will just say, send fire, and then they can advise if there's an issue. A lot of times it's just burnt food.
35. 41.
On assist at the Joanne Traffic at 1739 Beaman Avenue East, caller's client is being unruly and aggressive toward the caller, stated that she doesn't feel safe driving her home.
Southeast. 41 copy is Innovation and McKnight.
So we're going to go eastbound here on Front because Rice Street is closed.
44.
It looks like for some much needed repair.
For yellow 624, the driver and occupants of the vehicle have left the scene. Have locus.
Copy.
You may have heard in the news, if you're paying attention to the news here in the Twin Cities over the weekend, Saturday night, a SWAT officers from St. Paul were attempting to stop a vehicle for a narcotics arrest, and the vehicle fled. The officers did not chase it because it was driving so recklessly and erratically, but the car smashed into an unrelated police car quite a ways away from where it initially fled, and the driver then fled on foot, leaving a passenger who was severely injured and an officer that with injuries as well. So thank goodness the officer wasn't hurt worse, and hopefully we will get this suspect in custody in a timely fashion.
Her parents believe that she swallowed the quarter.
Oh, good. So the child's not choking, but the parents believe the child swallowed the quarter. So that's good that the child is breathing well. Here's the deal, or lesson I learned, is that you should bring the child in to the hospital anyway and have them checked out, because to make sure that that quarter's not lodged somewhere that it shouldn't be, and certain things that kids will eat are poisonous to the kids. Cigarettes. One of my boys ate a cigarette when he was little, and that really made him sick. We weren't sure what was going on, and but we were at relative's house, and someone had been smoking, and
445 is out.
He ate the cigarette, and a glass bead from a jar. Once my other, I can't remember if it was my son or daughter that ate the glass bead from a jar with flowers in it, and it had glass beads to anchor the vase, and those glass beads have a lot of lead in them, I guess, so they really want to make sure that gets out of their system as soon as possible. So that's my only medical advice for the day. So we are crossing over into the east side of St. Paul, which means I have to adjust my radio.
4550.
4450.
A phone call request for an assault.
Basic copy.
Maplewood Medic. Maplewood Medic corresponding to 1372 Pine Tree Drive for a 46-year-old female that's having anxiety attacks.
We're north on Westminster at Hyacinth. Something I was going to mention today is at this time of year with Thanksgiving and
8283 Tango.
Families coming back together, kids coming back from college, you know, it could put a lot of stress on a family, and keep an eye on your loved ones, you know, ask them how they're doing. We tend to have a lot of mental health crises over the holidays, as well as suicides, and just make sure you look out for each other. And
5-8 building, a black trench coat, One in the door on the market side of the store.
Help your friends.
5960, give me that one more time.
Male came in the store yelling and making threats. White male, 35 years old, 5'8", thin build, wearing a black trench jacket. Market side of the store.
2266 traffic.
2266.
So there's a call at
Highway 96 in Lexington with John.
Walmart of a male who's in the store causing a disturbance. Not an unusual occurrence. Those large box stores tend to get their share of calls.
522 is code 4. Those guys aren't here anymore.
That'd be code 4, 528 to speak with.
522, you can leave me on it for a little bit. There's a bunch of stuff here.
Will do.
I'm gonna go back and show you an accident up here. I did not see it on the CAD, but
2263.
you probably saw the fire trucks up here. It looks like there's a
152
trailer
Canada Road, East Department,
that's
215,
overturned.
assisting medic, 68-year-old male with COVID. 1351.
Looks like maybe this truck pulling a trailer crashed and the trailer came off. I don't know if you could see it there, but I'll give you some advice that I got from my field training officers when I was just a brand new officer, and that advice is the shiny side is supposed to be up. All right, the side with the wheels goes down. So it looks like there was an accident here. The truck hit the car and the trailer tipped, but they are being helped by Maplewood's finest officers.
That's one.
Excellent.
So we will move so that we're not causing further traffic issues, but people just need to be really careful when you're out driving, partly because there are enough people out that aren't paying attention. You don't want to get run into by one of those folks. I was just over in Minneapolis last week, and you really got to have your head on a swivel over there because people are driving nuts.
Oakland traffic, 1353.
145.
Copy, 1353.
So we're back westbound on Larpenter.
Normal speaker, composite, see the whole. Receive color. Like, can we do a call back?
We're approaching Rice Street now.
What is this 145? Instrument 28.
So I wanted to take a minute, if it was kind of slow, which it is, to talk about
I can try and make contact with
some of the people that help us in the sheriff's office that you're not going to see on camera. You may hear about every once in a while, but they're kind of our unsung heroes that get stuff done. You've heard of the smartest man,
I got no answer.
Kyle Mestat, who kind of oversees all of our admin, our grants, budget stuff, our finance people. He's the guy that makes sure everything keeps rolling that we're not paying attention to usually, unless he tells us to pay attention to it, like reducing overtime or whatever. Megan Schaefer, who helps manage our contracts with other agencies and vendors and make sure that we have good agreements that take care of us when we enter into those agreements to work with another agency. Dave Titus, who's on loan to us from St. Paul, who does he is the president of the Minnesota Peace and Association, and helps us with legislation and issues that we need to address legally to make sure that we can do our jobs. And he also is in charge of our health and wellness. Excuse me, Dino Guerin, who works on our emergency preparedness and making sure we have the personal protective equipment we need to be safe and do our jobs in a way where we can serve the public. Dave Matusalem, who's our chief deputy, who helps run the day-to-day operations of the sheriff's office and has the unenviable job of being my boss and the boss of all of us undersheriffs, keeping us in line, getting us to play well together. Tina McNamara, who oversees our courts and our civil process, our warrants, a lot of that stuff that people don't think about that is the responsibility of the sheriff's office. Transports, taking inmates to and from their court dates and other facilities. Bill Finney, who oversees our jail, formerly the chief of the St. Paul Police Department, I think for 18 years. So Gabe Exman, who does our grants and seeks out grants to help supplement our budget and allow us to do things like the CAT team that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Anna and Mitchell and our finance people.
1667 Snelling, apartment 208 East. Callers waiting at
So we have just a tremendous amount of people who just do a great job, who a lot of times are working behind the scenes to ensure that we can be successful.
There, and it sounds like there's possibly fighting. 205, did you copy that as well?
So we're going to go south on Dale from Maryland.
We don't know. We don't have any information beyond that because they called us on the phone to try and get clarification.
Copy that, thanks. 37 that.
What's what?
30.
So Dakota County is calling, looking
and
for.
And respond as normal for Dakota County.
Oh, okay. Dakota County squad saw a fight, but they were. Sounds like the fight broke up. They just wanted a merc squad there for some reason.
Juvenile accident.
Copy. Three oh three.
306, go ahead.
Can you call console 24 when you get a chance, please?
Console 24, copy that.
So we're gonna go eastbound here from Como Frontdale on Como. Kind of a confusing intersection here where multiple streets come together.
Texas Medic at 7735 Silver Lake Road, apartment 102 for a 93-year-old female that fell complaining of hip pain.
Thank you.
1401.
Tango.
5283 Tango.
247.
247, go ahead.
PC, give them a call. They can see exactly what they got going on.
14.
So we're still eastbound here at Western. Headed over to Rice. We're going to check on report of a dangerous condition. See if we can't clear that up for St. Paul. Of a
Send me that AOA. One of those squads can clear if they want.
female that we're very familiar with walking in the street. And
there's a black female on the address. I'm trying to get a hold of Dakota.
causing issues.
Physically violent with staff. The 40-year-old female, average build, wearing a white shirt and tan leggings. Where are you first when you have BPD?
4-1 copy. 400 lane and 4 lane.
14. 5230.
I won't get another chance to tell you this, but happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
I called Dakota County. They said they don't know. They just said their investigator asked for a squad routine.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of you and your families. I hope you have the opportunity to relax at some point and enjoy and be thankful for the blessings that you have.
Happy
And hopefully you can just most of you can take a day off. Of course, police, fire, EMS, our dispatchers, our hospitals, and all those folks that have to work regardless of the holiday. But if you see them, say thank you to them for working through the holiday and for what they do every day. So we're coming into the area where the female was walking into the street, and cars were having to dodge her. I'm going to see if I can locate her and just ask her to stay out of the street.
251.
251.
927 Jackson is the cemetery office, and they're not here.
I'm on the phone with Dakota. They're trying to clarify.
Thank you.
Where's 61? Where's 64? Domestic 520 Avenue, apartment 14, where male is pushing a female around and won't leave.
361 copy.
I am not seeing the young lady who was the subject of this call, so if I don't see her in another block, or there she is, I'm just going to talk to her quick. Susie, somebody called in on you. Somebody called in. Try to stay out of the street, all right?
I am. Okay.
Okay, be careful.
All right.
All right, there we go. We took care of that one.
And 251 and all the squads apparently was supposed to be Jesse, not Jackson. And you can be cleared. The Dakota County says they no longer need help.
251 copy. We're up there.
Incident assigned.
1407.
Confirm.
Your incident has been updated.
All right, so I went on. I assigned the call to myself,
Clear report.
and then I'm clearing it out here quick so that St. Paul doesn't have to
249.
send a squad over here.
I can start for pending.
You head to 175 Charles. It's going to be Unit 235 Echo. Hollers are only hearing this, please. What she hears is a male hitting a female. Female screaming to please stop.
249 copy.
595 Bittersweet Lane.
230 assist.
Much appreciated. 1408. Let's see for Charlie.
All right. So I had to go into the computer.
4466 copy.
I assigned myself the call, put a
1408.
note in there that I advised her to stay out of the street, and
2260.
that I had to go in and clear myself from the call. That way I could do all that and not tie up valuable airtime for the squads that are out on higher priority stuff. And then it clears up the St. Paul squad to go to the higher priority events and not get tied up on something that easy.
Last one campaign number.
2266.
Copy and also playing at 1462 Arden Oak Drive.
So we're south on Park at Winnipeg. Kind of a busy little area back in here. You get a lot of stolen cars, some drug dealing, little bit of prostitution, but it's an area that we try to patrol as much as we can. The time of day that
5230 on east.
school buses are dropping the kids off in the neighborhood, so you'll see a lot of people waiting.
Can you call us a couple?
And we want to make sure that people are driving safely so they're not running into kids. This car, I think, has a smoking problem. Wow. But it looks like they're trying to limp it over to somewhere. And I don't want to stop them, because if I do, they'll probably never get it started again. And any of us who've been there, had cars like that, you know, you're just trying to get to your destination. We're driving by the Oakland Cemetery. Not too long ago, we had, about a month ago, a bunch of folks were visiting a fellow gang member's grave site on the anniversary, I believe, of the death of that individual, and fired more than 100 rounds from multiple guns. Of it is, we can take those shell casings and match them up to other shootings or guns that are recovered, and just add to our intel or our probable cause to arrest folks or get search warrants. We're northbound on Jackson. We're approaching Maryland. I think we'll try to sneak back over to the east side. I hate to use the Q word, but it's pretty quiet right now. check on a couple of locations here where schools are starting to get out. As you can see, if you're not from here, the leaves, for the most part, have fallen off the trees. There's some trees that are holdouts, and then there are a few kinds of trees that hold on to their leaves till later, much later in the season. But for the most part, the trees have lost their leaves, and people are out cleaning them up or have already done that so that they don't get mold and other issues from getting wet in the winter and having the snow on them.
For 20 miles. Copy for
I want to thank everyone for your tremendous support over the last few years doing this live on patrol. It's really nice to hear from all the backseaters, and I don't know, these kids might be waving at us. I'm not really sure. Car in front of us, or maybe they saw a friend. I don't know, but we'll pretend like they waved at us. Oh, they're definitely waving at us, so you guys have a good day. I'm not going to pull you over. There's no reason. Whoever's driving's doing a great job. So
361, that's suspect left out of the apartment.
They must be watching us on their
the black Chrysler
phones in the car.
The black BMW X5 and a full license.
So we're up here. We're going to pass Johnson High School, home of the Governors.
For Mel that's refusing to leave the store for staff, he is now to be violent. He's a black male wearing a dark blue hoodie and gray
We're going to take a right here on Wheelock Parkway and go kind of southeast along Phelan Golf Course. It looks like they're still golfing out there. Kind of surprised, unless somebody snuck on the course. Looks like an actual golfer. A couple of them.
Edgewater and Lexington to recover her son, color song, waiting on the ground. She'll be waiting there wearing a blue hooded type shirt.
Passing the Phelan
1420.
Recreation Center, but also ice rink.
Trying to find it again.
Outside ice rink. And
Plates show up as previous plates on a gray Mercedes SUV.
the Minnesota Wild held an outdoor practice there last year. I'm assuming they might again this year. They had one at
1681 Hall Street, assisting matter.
Dyna Ice Rink, I believe.
Allergic reaction.
But first it's got to get cold enough to make good ice.
2266, I'll be clear, sir. I'll take the abandoned vehicle.
Copy. Vehicles abandoned in the area of 1013 Ingerson, 1421.
5960.
5960.
Close more of the shoplifter.
Code 4 Walmart, 1421.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I see it now. Well, if you see that, if you get back in town and you see that SUV, it's turned off before, right there. Not sure where.
Copy that.
So that's Pat. You heard Pat out there. One half of the Bob and Pat Friday Night Live on Patrol. Pat's out and about and saw a vehicle that had plates that didn't match the vehicle, it sounds like, and so we'll keep an eye out for it while we're over here.
Where you want to know?
Anyway, I was thanking you for all your support over the last few years. It's just been tremendous, the things that you've done for our community, and for other backseaters, the replacing the bicycle for Noah, and the gift cards that we can give to the homeless, and the donations of warm clothing that we can give to homeless folks. It really means a lot, and especially during the holidays here. We appreciated it. Puts a big smile on people's face.
Just breathing. Low blood pressure.
We're right by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, or the BCA, our state investigative agency. Superintendent Drew Evans does a tremendous job, along with his assistant superintendents and the investigators here. And some of my favorite people
4460.
either have always worked at the BCA or have gone to the BCA further along in their careers.
Female at a treatment center was cutting himself and fled the building with the intention to kill himself. Subject is a Davian Henderson, registration album in 2005. 6 foot thin built, wearing a brown jacket, red black pants.
I forgot to ask you earlier, but if you can, please share this video. The more people we can get watching, the better. Or subscribe on YouTube. We want to reach as many people as we can and kind of show them the inside of.
Northbound Century 4 minutes ago.
Show them the inside of what we do in policing, and that it's not all just arresting people and tagging people or going to calls, but a lot of it's just interactions with folks and building trust. to go north here on White Bear Avenue. I'm looking at the pending calls here.
4461 PCM.
4461.
He's in the PD, please, no clear.
Copy.
Nothing really over in the area where we are. We're getting a few little sprinkles or something. I don't know if they're... It's hard to tell if they're just little rain sprinkles or small snowflakes. We're gonna pretend like it's not snowing because I'm not quite ready for that.
Could you put me on a shoplifter? I don't see it on the board.
Copy. 1426.
We're northbound on White Bear. We're coming up to Larpenter, which is the border with the city of Maplewood.
Here's your phone.
334.
55 Training Avenue in the lower unit of Howard State. He was hit by his girlfriend and he's waking up from.
Copy. 137. Copy update. Clarified for 230.
Passing by Aldrich Arena. Pretty soon the high school, I don't know if it's quarterfinals or semifinals, will be there at the indefinitely. Section finals will be, some of them will be played there at Aldrich Arena. It's a historic facility here on the east side of, on the east side of the metro area.
850 Henry East at Walmart for a disorderly male yelling at people inside the store near the pharmacy. Black male, 18 years old, 5'9", then belt, wearing a black sweatshirt, jeans, and black shoes.
Our friends aren't out there today. It's a little cold for the kids to be playing outside anyway. So we're in the city of Maplewood. Chief Beardeman is the chief in Maplewood. Runs a great department. Great officers. We get to interact with them a lot. It's a busy suburb, and they are home to one of the two large malls that we have in the in Ramsey County. Maplewood Mall is up here, and we also have Rosedale Mall over in the city of Roseville. I always want to call the city Rosedale.
East 4th on investigate. Code 4.
Copy.
daughter and her friends had a Friendsgiving
156.
last
23
night,
o'clock.
and she made some, I don't know, like a buffalo chicken cheese dip. That looked really good. She's lucky I didn't eat half of it before she got it, but I didn't eat any. And she and my wife went to the Gopher Women and Connecticut basketball game yesterday afternoon. Unfortunately, the Gophers lost, but Connecticut's a highly ranked team. I can't remember what their rank is, and they have some Paige Beckers from Hopkins, Minnesota. And my daughter and my wife wanted to see her play against the Gophers, and got to see quite a show yesterday. The Gophers put on a good fight, but in the end lost. But Minnesota's really become a breeding ground for really good women's basketball. I've always had a little bit of that, but the Lindsay Whalens and the Rachel Bannums, but man, has it exploded lately, and our high school and AAU teams are really turning out some great women's basketball players, and it helps that we have good programs, but also a lot of good Division I, Division II, Division III opportunities for those girls to play. So I should say happy birthday to Sailor Gallagher, my son's friend and daughter's friend, who plays at Augsburg. I don't know which day was her birthday, but it was within the last couple days. Happy birthday, Sailor. And it goes without saying that we turn out by far the best hockey players in the world. I mean, there might be a couple other competitors, but Minnesota is the state of hockey. And we have not only have tremendous high school and college sports, but professional sports, professional hockey, and the Wild and the women's professional hockey league. The U of M Gopher women are a dynasty when it comes to women's hockey, and it's awesome to see our teams competing at such a high level. For as busy as it was on the radio this morning, it's definitely slowed down. But the good thing is, on Wednesday we'll have the younger CAT team members will be out and active, and then on Friday we'll be back to Live on Patrol Friday edition, where the sheriff and Pat, our Sheriff Bob Fletcher and Deputy Pat Scott will be out fighting crime with members of our CAT team and other deputies as assigned. I will be out as well, but generally I will have a camera, but won't always be on camera. So again, I apologize for missing last Monday and the lack of a notice, but it just didn't have the ability to do that. We are headed south on 35E back to the barn. I appreciate everybody taking this time to watch me today, even though we didn't have much action. We got to ask little Susie to stay out of the street, and we looked for the Dakota County deputies who actually had given the wrong address. And we did get to see the accident up at Westminster and Larpenteur.
Go for it, Walmart.
And, but not a lot going on.
Pretty much smoke.
Yeah.
We keep trying to convince the sheriff to that we should do Live on Patrol from somewhere warm during the winter, like Florida or California or Mexico. Nah, probably not Live on Patrol from Mexico, but we would have to hook up with maybe another agency to ride along or do something else. But
7034.
it would be kind of fun.
2701 County Road I, apartment 213, assisting medic, 74-year-old male, conscious and shortness of breath and dizziness.
So thanks again for being with me today. We're almost back to the station, and I gotta go to an important meeting. But I really am glad that you took the time to stick around, and make sure you watch us on Wednesday afternoon. Thanks. Have a good night and have a great Thanksgiving.